Salesforce conducting a survey of over 6,000 sales professionals worldwide to take the temperature of the industry amid the pandemic. To talk about the results, I want to bring in Tiffani Bova, Global Customer Growth and Innovation Evangelist at Salesforce. Tiffani, good morning. Based on your research, how are sales reps adapting to the pandemic?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. I'll say this, this is really about a time of flexibility and resilience. And so many sales reps are adapting as customers face unprecedented challenges. More than ever, it's really about trust, but it's about building long-term relationships, not only pre-pandemic, but now even more so in our new digitally, virtually selling world.
Have customer expectations changed during this time?
Absolutely. What has happened is we now are all, most of us anyway, depending on where you are in the world, right, are working from home, which means our consumer hats are on all day long. So even if we are working for a business at that time and doing deals and trying to sell, virtual selling has become the new reality. So leveraging tools like video and AI, voice, all kinds of ways that you can now try to engage in a more connected, personal, empathetic way in a remote environment is challenging, but I think everybody's up for the challenge, that's for sure.
Are customers still buying?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? And initially when things started to really shift in March, that was the number one question I heard quite often is, are customers still buying? And I think now that we're coming into the October, November holiday time frame and the buying and the selling time frame, we are starting to see things pick back up. There are certain industries that did not have much impact, but others like hospitality, absolutely. So I think that this is about making sure that you check in with your customers, understand what their needs are, and make sure you're delivering a really personalized experience to them, answering any questions they might have during this time. But the bottom line is we have to let our customers set the pace of that buying process because we don't know what's happening on the other end of the phone.
Salesforce conducted a small and medium business trends report. How are small and medium businesses feeling right now? We always just hear that it is not an easy time to be in business right now, especially for a small business. So what is the feeling?
Look, we've got some industries like healthcare, technology, consumer products, they're really optimistic. Others like retail, manufacturing, or hospitality are less optimistic. But I can tell you that the number one thing right now that SMBs are focused on is really health and safety of their employees, making sure that if and when they can open back up, they do so in a safe manner. They take care of not only their employees, but their customers. And so this is really a time where SMBs, they are the lifeblood of communities. So it's a time for us to rally behind those small businesses and make sure we support them as well.
So I was just looking at the results there. I'm surprised that more businesses don't feel worse, so to speak, right? We're only seeing 4 or 5%. It's not very different, right, from the beginning of feeling not at all optimistic. Are any of these results surprising to you?
Yeah, well, what we did was we actually did something really unique. We took a survey in March of 2020 and then again in August of 2020. So that comparison gave us an indication of our businesses starting to feel more optimistic and why. And I think as cities and states start to open back up, that's helpful. Many SMBs have spent this last 6 months investing in digital technologies to allow them to continue to conduct business. So I think they've made their way through the stabilized phase and are trying to get back to work in some sense of normalcy. And then really it's getting back to growth. How do we start to turn the engines back on for selling, especially coming into the holiday season, once again, in those industries that are feeling much more optimistic. But the bottom line is that, SMBs are where we're seeing a tremendous amount of innovation, and they're much more flexible than the larger enterprises because they have the ability to turn much more quickly than others that have very disparate and thousands of employees around the world or around the country.
No, it's a great point. I don't know if you went into the stimulus package or whatnot, but are these businesses looking for more help from the government?
I think, listen, I think it's a couple of things. I think SMBs are looking for help from the government, but I think they're looking for help from their communities as well. I mean, so much has been said about buying local, buying small, order from your local restaurants, take advantage of those and support those that are open and trying to continue to do what they do, right? I mean, SMBs employ the majority of of Americans. And so I think it's really important for us to support them. So I think the optimism is also a reflection of how people have rallied behind them to help them feel like, they're going to be there when they open back up.
All right, great insight. Thank you so much. Tiffani Bova, Global Customer Growth and Innovation Evangelist at Salesforce. Appreciate all the insight this morning.